Hello, I'm out here at the Grote Agronomic Experience plot north of Slater. We're going to have a little discussion of fungicide timing. And I'm here with...
Jesse Grote Agronomic Services Rep for Syngenta CP.
All right, so what are we seeing here? What are we thinking about this time, Jesse?
Yeah, so we're coming up on prime time for foliar fungicide applications in corn. And that optimum timing is going to be VTR1. So we can check this one out here behind me. It's going to pop the whorl out, kind of count how many leaves we got. So there's one. This one's a little bit wound up. So we're one. Go ahead and get the second one off of there. So we're sitting about 2.5 to 3 leaves before tassels are going to start popping up. And when you think about that timing, VTR1, that's the perfect time. So 2 to 3 days for another leaf to come out in this kind of weather, we're probably, in that 5-6 day window, we're going to start thinking about getting those applications ready.
Okay.
The reason that timing is where we want to go is because all the leaves are going to be out. We're going to get maximum protection not only on the ear leaves, but then on the top of the canopy. And those are going to be the leaves that matter for the rest of the season going forward. Those are the ones we want to protect. Also, we want to get out there before we have a lot of disease present. So getting that timing on there will have maximized the residual we're going to get throughout the year.
And where should we be worried about when we start seeing disease? Up top, down low?
Yeah, early in the season for most of the diseases, you'll see them come in lower canopy. We don't have a lot of disease here in this corn, but you might start seeing them, a little bit of tar spot or something pop up in the lower canopy. That's just something to keep an eye on, but like I mentioned, once we get to tassel time, you look over here, these are the ones that are going to really matter throughout the year. I'll pull this leaf back a little here so you can see the ear leaf. This is where the ear is going to be. So as we go from here on out for the rest of the year, you want to focus your scouting and you're looking for disease from here on up, because that's going to be what ultimately could impact and take yield away from us.
All right. And as far as products or timing, how many applications we do, what are you thinking there?
Yeah, so as far as product go on corn, we're going to do Miravis Neo or Trivapro. Both of them have our carboxamide SDHIs in them in addition to azoxystrobin and propiconazole. And we want those out there. What that SDHI does is really extend the residual, but also provide plant health benefits. So I mentioned a minute ago, there's not a lot of disease in this field, the one we're looking at. So you might be thinking, well, we don't really need to apply fungicide, but with the new technology and with those plant health fungicides like Miravis Neo or Trivapro, regardless of the weather conditions or disease presence, year over year, we get the stress mitigation in addition to disease control, and we continue to see that ROI even in the absence of disease. And we're standing out here, and I'm getting a little stressed in this weather, so the corn's going to start feeling the same thing. Now, in regards to how many applications, so I mentioned we always want our premium product, Miravis Neo Trivapro, at VTR1. That's prime time. From then, continue to scout. We talked about where to scout from the ear leaf on up. Get out there 21, 28 days later. If you start to see more disease moving in, last year was a good example with southern rust. It just continued and continued and continued, just come from the weather and the inoculum load we have. In that case, second application might be warranted, but the second one in most cases is situational, base it on disease pressure, but always go with the premium top tier fungicide at VTR1.
All right. And what kind of protection do you think, kind of timing, how long we're going to get for that first shot?
Yeah, so that first shot, in a normal year, usually carries us out through the growing season. Now, I can't exactly pin a number of days on it. Depends on environment, inoculum, pressure, so on and so forth. And that's why it's important if you're starting to see disease or there is a heavy disease year, get out there 21, 28 days later, scout it. If you need to come back, that would be the time to come back.
Okay, and the next 2 weeks supposed to be 90 degrees with a bunch of humidity. What diseases do we need to look for, and kind of what are you thinking may come?
Yeah, it's been kind of a roller coaster disease-wise this year. It looked like we might have some tar spot early on, but like you mentioned, now we're warm and extremely humid. It favors diseases like gray leaf spot. That's one we're going to want to keep an eye on for. It's been kind of a roller coaster weather-wise, but definitely gray. Rust, enjoy this hot, humid weather as well, especially if we were to get some southern winds and bring up that southern rust inoculum. It'd definitely be one to keep an eye out for as well. But also to that point, you know, like I talked about a little bit ago, it's important not to wait to see a bunch of disease. So don't let that slow you down from making that application at VT-R1. Because if it does blow up and we do get a lot of disease, we want to be ahead of it, not constantly, you know, chasing it throughout the growing season.
Would you say that Marevis Neo and TribePro are more proactive of a fungicide, being able to hold that back before we get disease?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of that's due to that SDHI chemistry that I mentioned. And what that does is it really binds to that waxy layer in the leaf, and it persists for a long time within the plant, and that's what gives that good residual control.
You need full contact. It's a contact. You got to be on the leaf for it to be effective.
Yep, absolutely. You got to be able to, you know, get good coverage, you know, get it spread, use the proper adjuvant, and make sure you get it down. You know, we want to ideally get coverage at least down to where the ear leaf's going to be, because like I mentioned a little bit ago, those are the leaves that we really need the rest of the year.
What are the advantages to doing it, spraying fungicide just for harvest season?
Yeah, so we talked about that second application a little bit, but sometimes that second application can really come into play when it comes to harvest, because then we're looking at things like standability. So even in absence of a lot of, you know, maybe foliar disease, having that late season stock strength and that standability can really help speed up harvest. And that doesn't even have to come from that second application. The first one, and say it wasn't a very high disease year, those plant health benefits are going to carry out to harvest time and help with that standability.
All right, well, thank you, Jesse Grote. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Jesse or me, and we will be on the lookout for disease and keep you in the know. Thank you.
Thank you.